What's up everyone? Just letting you know, I'm doing some live streaming right now. Let's retake that. Just letting you know, I'm doing some live streaming right now. What's up everyone? Just letting you know I am live streaming some figure drawing instructional videos on YouTube. So if you want to come check that out, hit this link or the link in my bio and I'll see you on YouTube. Peace. What's up everyone? Just letting you know I am live streaming some figure drawing instructional videos on YouTube. So if you want to come check that out, hit this link or the link in my bio. I'll see you on YouTube. Peace. What's up everyone? Just letting you know I am live streaming some figure drawing instructional videos on YouTube. So if you want to come check that out, hit this link or the link in my bio, and I'll see you on YouTube. Peace. What's up everyone? Just letting you know I am live streaming some figure drawing instructional videos on YouTube. So if you want to come check that out, hit this link or the link in my bio, and I'll see you on YouTube. Peace. All right, so I was just recording an invitation on my Instagram to invite people to come check out our video. So I'm gonna go live on Instagram for just 2 seconds and do that as well, but we're gonna jump in and I'm gonna talk about the use of spheres, boxes, and cylinders in learning how to capture volume in figure drawing. So. Actually, I'm just totally going to skip the Instagram live stream and I'm just going to jump in. Okay. Also, as usual, feel free to hit me up in the chat, ask questions, make comments. I've got the chat up right in front of me now. And so I will be taking comments and questions and I would love to hear from you all. So let me just make sure I'm recording. I am recording. Awesome. Then let's rock and roll. So here is our photo reference. And I want to talk about finding spheres, boxes, and cylinders in order to capture the volume of a pose. And the first thing I want to do is show you by tracing this image. So check this out. When we think about finding volume, the volume exists in the body. The head, I'm going to think about it like this. Easy to see when you're tracing it, but what I want us to do is think about it like a sphere. And what we're doing is we're augmenting the sphere. We're taking, just like it's made out of clay, we're going to bring down one corner and knead it out until that sphere begins to describe the jutting out of a chin. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to simplify the complex shape of the rib cage and shoulder constructions, which there's a lot of bones and muscles and all kinds of stuff going on there. And we're going to simplify it to a three-dimensional box. What I'm thinking about here is we've got the sphere for the head, spine comes down, and we're going to reduce these constructions into just three-dimensional boxes like this. The spine continues down. And we're going to see more of the side of the box for the pelvis than we would for the one for the rib cage. And so by doing this, look at how the volume and the twist in the body are starting to come to life, right? This twist should start to become apparent. Okay, so let's trace her, and then we're going to do the figure drawing afterwards. So here, we've got the spine. We're not seeing the spine, but we are seeing the top of this box here. This is the suprasternal notch. The suprasternal notch connects the clavicles, and the clavicles beautifully describe the top front of this box right here. Then, where's the bottom of the box? Well, it's at these protruding ribs right here. And it's not an exact science. You really are just letting yourself just simplify this complex construction of the rib cage and the shoulders into just this basic box shape. So, and I'll show you the actual construction of the rib cage, clavicles, shoulders, all that stuff. It's very complex, but that's why we start with the box. Then for the pelvic box, we are going to this ACES, which stands for anterior, meaning front, superior, meaning top. So front, top, iliac crest. The iliac crest are these big fan-like hip bones that do this, right? The spine comes down like this, then they come down into the ischium or your sits bones, just like this, and then you're going to have your great trochanter built out there, the femur constructions, patellas, tibia and fibula right here, okay? The ACES, anterior, superior iliac crest. So we can see those on people. And they give us this directionality right there that shows us what this box is doing. And look at how suddenly the three-dimensionality, the volume of these three major volumes begins to describe this unique pose in 3 dimensions. Okay, so let's draw her. So what I'm thinking about, just like when I was tracing, I want to take the head, and if it's helpful, start with a sphere, and then augment it. We're going to push the sphere downward, paying attention to the angular direction, because that's what's going to describe that 3-dimensional orientation. And so here we can build a basic head shape out of just an augmented sphere. Okay, now what I want to understand is the relationship between the head to the suprasternal notch. How far down does it go? So I like to find the angle of this sternocleidomastoid, or this sort of neck muscle that joins up with this notch that is right between your clavicles or your collarbones. And then I'm going to find the overall sweeping angle of these collarbones, and that's going to begin to describe the front of this top box, right? Second, how far out does the box go? I'm going to use just an angle in order to understand this, and I think it's something like this. Same thing on this side. Maybe something like this. This is not an exact science. This is just to help me comprehend what this complex volume is doing. What's the orientation of this complex volume? Okay, I can step back and ask myself, is the orientation in three-dimensional space beginning to be clear because of the way I've reduced the rib cage and the shoulders into a box? I like what it's doing so far. Next, let's find the box that describes the pelvis. So, using an angle, I can bring this down. And I think this angle here is going to lead me to this far acis. Remember, the acis, it's the most important anatomical landmark on the pelvis. So where this rib cage juts in, where it starts to come back out, is where we're going to have this muscle called the external oblique. It's going to come out like this, right? And look at how I'm just finding the angle before I actually start drawing all this stuff in. Okay, so this is going to come down just like how we drew here. I'm just trying to keep it simple, finding these simple box shapes. To this acis, and I'm going to bring it to this acis, and here I really want, I think this ace is a little farther forward, I really want this angular relationship correct, because that's going to capture any kind of contrapposto in the pose, or any kind of angular variety between what the rib cage is doing and what the pelvis is doing. It's these angles capturing this relationship where the energy of the pose is going to be captured or lost. Okay, so let's find this box. Okay, and I can step back and ask myself, is the volume of the pose starting to make sense? Is it coming to life? I'm pretty happy with what it's doing. So this box here, I really want to allow it to just be vague, because what's going to happen here is the pubic bone is about 1/3 of the way up the box. You know, once again, this box is an approximation. And allow this leg to be a simple cylinder, but first, really want to make sure I get the directionality of this leg planned and get the foot planned just to make sure it's balancing. I can step back and say, is that the correct balancing? I think so. We've got this leg behind coming down, something like this. I can step back, ask myself, am I feeling the pose coming to life? If so, then I can do the same thing here. Find the angular direction of the arm. It's going to be something like this. And this arm here, far less important, because It's just not doing too much. Okay, so I think you may not be able to see this top arm, but whatever. I'll lower it a little bit just to make sure it fits in. Maybe I'll lower my easel as well, just a little bit. Okay. Then what I want to do is take the complex anatomy of the neck. No idea how many muscles are in the neck, but there's a lot. And I'm going to reduce it to a simple cylinder. Okay, we've got the trapezius coming out here. And then, how complex is the arm? Well, we'll come back to the arm. The legs are way more important, just because they're weight bearing. So they're essential to the pose. This upper leg here, so complex, but not if you just find, as simply as possible, the augmented cylinder. Then find the cylinder beneath it for the lower leg. And then let yourself just find a basic shape for the foot. And the volume of the lower leg is coming out just so easily. Just so easily. Same thing here. I'm not even worried with knee construction at the moment. All I'm worried about, can I get simple, believable ellipses? Simple, believable cylinders. The ellipse is just the top and the bottom of the cylinder, or any kind of mark which just wraps. So if I were to take a piece of string and wrap it around this leg, that's an ellipse. Let's say the leg were slightly transparent. That's an ellipse. And ellipses do a great job of describing the three-dimensional nature of a cylinder. All right. Next up, we've got the legs planned out, right? Let's get these arms planned out. This shoulder construction is such a great place to talk about how the best thing you can do to capture anatomy is just overlap. Overlap anatomical forms. I've noticed how this muscle overlaps the arm, which overlaps the back. See that? And in doing so, I've described the extremely complex anatomy of what constructs basically the armpit. Okay, simple cylinder. Simple cylinder. Here's another one. Okay, simple volume for the arm. All right, how about this one? Simple cylinder. Up here, same thing. And I'm bringing this arm a little bit closer to the head so it fits. Then here's the construction of the hand, and I'm just going to let it remain very simple. And when we step back, we can see that this pose is feeling volumetric. Adding anatomy on top of this is so simple. especially if we just keep the anatomy as simple as simple volumes. Either a cuboid, and a cuboid is just a term that describes a cube in 3 dimensions, allowing it to also have uneven edges so that they become like 3-dimensional rectangles, things like that. So cuboid, a sphere, and remember, we can augment spheres to describe a lot. Same thing with cylinders, and we have talked a lot about augmenting cylinders in this drawing already. Okay, so for example, you can take this sphere and you can flatten it. That's all we're doing. And if you do that, you can easily describe a breast, describe a flank pad, describe a gluteus maximus, anything we need. We're just observing how these simple volumes sit on top of simple volumes. And if you just keep it simple, then the drawing should really maintain a very volumetric look. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Have fun doing your own figure drawings, and don't forget, like this video. If you liked it, let me know in the comments how you think I can improve these videos. What did you learn? What do you want to learn on the next video? And if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to my channel, and I will check you all on the next video. Peace, happy drawing. All right, see you later, bye.